Alright, well, I'm out here working on my truck right now, and I'm doing the injectors, timing, and some delivery valves, so I figured I'd record the whole process so I could help show you guys. I don't know how well this is focusing. Guess you don't need to see my face anyways, but yeah, I found a cool, neat little way that's the right way for really cheap to do this, so yeah, let's get into it. So, first thing we got going on here, I have a whole page printed off. I can link it if you guys want me to, step by step how to do the timing. It's really nice to have just so you don't forget anything, but you're going to want to start by taking off your intake horn and your intercooler pipe. That way you can get to all your lines and avoid bending them or anything stupid. But yeah, so I'm going to do that, take pictures if you need to, and I'll show you the next step. So the first few steps are, you take your negative battery terminals off just because it takes 1 second, might as well. And you take, so you got, these are all your bolts to your intake horn. You got 2 big ones in the back there, and 3 little ones. One goes in that hole, the other 2 go in the front, and then your whole intake horn comes off. Then you pull your intercooler boot off, and I put duct tape over the end of that and the end of that, just so nothing falls in there. Little preventive from me doing something stupid. Also, there's one little bolt holds on the dipstick tube, and your intercooler will have bands. It will have 2 11mm nuts. They'll come off. They might be stuck on there because they've been there forever, but the way I'm doing it this way, you can get away with just taking off one injector or one delivery valve line and getting your tool in there, but the way I'm going to do it, just because I'm doing injectors and delivery valves anyways, and so I haven't been any lines, is I'm just going to pop them all off. And if you do that, you have to take these 2 off. You only have to take these 2 off if you're trying to get these grounds off and your lines out. And let's see, you're going to just take a 3/4 inch wrench, crack every one of your delivery valve holders and all your injectors. They'll pop loose. Then you'll have, take the 10mm that's right there and the 10mm that's right there, and then these lines will pop right off. See, they're free. It goes 3 and 3, so just so you know, they'll pop right off. Alright, so the next step after you've gotten the lines off, as you can see they're off, there's going to be this oil fill tube that's right here, right? That oil fill tube. It's going to be a 17 millimeter for the big one and an 8mm for the little one. Sorry if I got bad video, but I had to get it's just right in there. I had to get an end wrench and just get it off. And then for this piece down here, what you're gonna want to do is stick your wrench down in there and turn it, and it'll unscrew. And you just take this and it'll unscrew all the way. It'll take some unscrewing, and then this thing will come on out of there, just like that. See, it's got threads. It's counterclockwise, normal threads. And you want to take this little specialty 32 point, I can't remember, sorry for the bad video. It's a special for the Ppump, and it goes over all these splines on your delivery valve socket, on your delivery valve holder, sorry. It will go over there. I only paid like 25 bucks for it on Amazon. It'll go right over this, and there's paint on it, so you have to just take a rubber hammer and slowly tap around. Make sure you don't put it on crooked, and it'll eventually go on there. Just take your time. Don't put it on there crooked, but it will work. All right, so this is gonna be a little tricky to record by myself and do it, but my socket is on the delivery valve holder, and you got to do this a certain way. So once you unthread it all the way, there's gonna be a spring in here, and you gotta tilt it just like this to where everything stays in there, and you can pull it out just like that. If you were to pull it out straight, these are a pain in the butt to pull out straight because the spring and everything in there is just perfect. It's easier just to tilt it out. But now that that's out, let's see, set this over here. You want to Okay, so that was the spring for the delivery valve. Now you want to get a big magnet like this and make sure it's very clean, because everything you do with this, you want it to be perfect and clean. Make sure you spray all around here with brake clean. But you're gonna stick it in. Oh, did you hear it? Grab? Okay. Now, very carefully pull it out with a magnet, just like that. And it's gonna be two pieces. It's gonna be the outer part of your delivery valve. Sorry, you can't see. And the inner, just so you know, like that. There's two pieces in there. Pull it out as one hole and go sit it in a safe spot. And then on these 160 pumps, you're going to find a little washer in there. And you can't get it with the magnet because it is made out of copper. But just like that, on the 160, 175 pumps. Or if you have aftermarket delivery valves, you don't keep this in there. So just pull that out. Okay, now for this part, you can go buy a snap-on delivery valve holder that holds your micrometer or your dial indicator. Sorry, I want this to be very clean. No dirt or nothing on it. You thread this in here to as far as you can. All this is, I'll make another video on showing how I made this, but all this is a oil pan for these trucks. And you get it, let's see, I knew it stopped at a certain point. Right there, yeah, that's what I wanted. Yeah. So it'll stop right there, it'll turn. You gotta make sure that this is screwed all the way into where it has a stopping point and it won't move. Then you can unscrew your set screw, just like that. Drop this bad boy all the way in to where you can see it nice and good. I'm gonna set it right, let's see. There. Come over here. Take your set screw and tighten it, and then turn it just like that. Perfect. Now it should be showing me where I am for top dead center. And this doesn't apply yet because I haven't zeroed out the indicator, but yeah, go to the bottom of the stroke. When this stops moving, you zero out the dial indicator. So now that I got it set up on a tripod where you can see a lot better, I'm gonna show you guys how to find top dead center. The easiest way I could figure it out, by going backwards and doing it through the alternator. So the only way you can do it through the alternator is by spinning it counterclockwise backwards. So I had all these written out in backwards, that way I know which way to go. And the easiest way to do it is to watch these valves and watch when the exhaust valve goes down and back up. After the exhaust valve has come back up, that is at the top of the exhaust stroke. So then it has to go down one time and back up, and you're to the top dead center on the compression stroke. So I'm going to zoom in on the valve so you can see a little bit better. It's going to be hard to see either way, but let's see if I can get around that motor mount. Okay, so the exhaust valve is on the left side, and I'm just going to take and rotate this backwards. And right now, none of the valves are moving. Best way to do it is like this, very slowly. Okay, right there. Should be top dead center. Yep, the pin on the back of the timing cover goes in and out freely. That's top dead center right there. The way I know is because I know that that's what it is on the dial indicator, but the way you guys can do it is just rotate it really slowly until you can find it, and then when it goes in, it'll feel a second click because it goes in twice. There's a soft little push and then a hard push. But let's see if I can. I'll show you another picture of the back of the injection pump, but yeah, that's top dead center. In my book, it shows where the pin is located. It's above the vacuum pump and below the injection pump right there. This is a more close-up picture if you need to pause. There's a little retaining ring in there that you can pop out with a pick, and that way the whole thing comes out. You can just find it with your finger, that way you don't risk breaking off the nipple. And this will come out. But yeah, that's where it's located. Once you find top dead center, you're going to want to rotate the motor clockwise to get the lash out of the gears, and that way you can turn the motor in reverse to get it to your destined timing. So I'm going to make the big arm go to the 60 for 17 degrees. You can look up the timing chart and pick whatever you want, but I'm doing it in inches, and I'm going to work back to 260, and it is currently at 302. So this is very minute. It's very small little turns to get to where you want. It's very easy to go too much. You gotta go super slow. Oh, perfect almost. Just a hair more. Perfect. Right there. That's 2 and 60, which is roughly about 17 degrees. 17 degrees is 2598. But I'm just going to 260 because close enough. But there we go. Little arms on the 2, big arms on the 60. Yours will be different. But now that that's on there, and I have my nut off already, because if you try to break the nut loose, it just moves it anyways, and you got to restart. So do the nut first, then do this. Now I can put my puller on here and pop the gear off and hope it stays in the same spot. If it doesn't stay in the same spot, I'll have to put the gear back on there and do it again until it stays there. Alright, so I got my timing set at 17 degrees, which is on that 60. So now I have my timing gear puller, and it's just threaded into the 2 holes on the gear, and you're gonna want to tighten them on your hand as even as you can. You can kind of look at it, but it's kind of hard. And then with the ratchet, you're gonna want to go as even as you can as too. But you go a little on that side, just back and forth until it pops off, and it'll make a loud pop. I don't know how much it takes. I don't think it takes much, but hopefully when it pops off, it doesn't move where it's at. Sorry if you can't see. It's kind of hard to record and do at the same time. There it goes, just like that. And it stayed perfect right where it's supposed to be. So now I can take and unscrew my gear puller. just like that. Okay, gear puller is out, just like that. And now that gear is free from the pump, so the motor will spin and the pump will not spin with the motor. So okay, so now that I got the pump gear disengaged from the motor, I can rotate the motor backwards counterclockwise and hold my hand on the pin and go really slow until it pops back into top dead center. I'll have to. So that's the first initial click, and then you put pressure on it after that and rotate it backwards. Alright guys, so after about 1,000,000 tries of me trying to get this timing pin in there and get back to top dead center, I could not find it. I don't know why, and I was scared that I sheared it off, so I pulled it out. I should have just pulled it out in the first place because it's pretty easy. All it is this retainer. It holds, it goes on the back side of this right here, and it holds the timing pin in there. So if you get a little pick, you can pull it out of there. It's kind of a pain in the butt because it's really tight down there, but I eventually got that retaining pin out, and then the timing pin will just come right out. So what you do once you pull this out is you stick your finger in there. Once again, it's super hard to get your finger in there, especially if you got big hands, but you can feel the dimple coming. When the dimple's coming, you stick this in there and you push on it really hard and you turn very little, then it finally clicked in there. So it's at top dead center now with the pin out. Don't want the pin back in there, that way I don't shear it off. Or if you don't take it out, you can just pull it out of its position. But now that I have it at top dead center, I can clean the shaft really good with brake clean and compressed air. So I'm gonna go get my air compressor going, and I'll show you the next step. Just spraying some compressed air in there really good, everywhere you can. Clean the living crap out of this thing. You can never spray too much brake clean or air compressor. But I don't think you want to end on compressed air because you could push oil back onto there. But just clean the living crap out of it. It's really hard to get to if you don't have your fan off and timing cover off. But the best you can do, you definitely want to. If you don't, you'll be back in here doing it again when it slips. Alright, I hope that is enough, because holy crap, that's a lot of brake clean. Probably be seeing things later. Breathing in so much brake clean. Bill, I hope that's clean enough. So now that I got that all brake cleaned and good, I put a lot of brake clean on it. Hopefully I did enough, but I got a new nut and a new washer just because they were cheap and better to be safe than sorry, I guess. These washers you definitely want to replace for the most part because it's a crush washer. It's a wearable part, and a lot of the times they will break, and when you go to take them off the next time, or they could be break while they're running, it'll fall right down into your timing case and wreak havoc. But it's just a little tricky. You don't want to drop this down there. It goes on there just like that. And then I was reading something that says that there's a flat part, but I couldn't tell. They look both flat, so just go on this side. Sorry you can't see. It's a little tricky to do this and see at the same time. Oh shit. Now, tighten that down a little, just like that. And there's a torque sequence on this. It's 20 the first time, you let it sit there so it can slide onto the shaft, if any. And then you go to 155. I'm gonna go to 160 just because 5 extra pounds couldn't hurt, right? I've heard a lot of guys going 160, 170, so I'm gonna go 160. But you gotta have something to keep the motor from turning. So you have to have something pried into your dampener or some in the flywheel, something to keep it from turning on you. So I'm gonna do that next. Alright guys, and just like that. It took a while because when you're putting that nut on there, for whatever reason it grabs the pump and it turns it a little. So after you torque it down to 155 foot-pounds and then you go to check it at top dead center again, it'll be off. Like it was at 20 degrees, so I had to take the nut off, pop the gear back off, and do it again. I had to do it twice before I got it to where I want it. So now it's finally, well, let me get at a different angle. Whoa. Right there. 17.5 degrees, which is 2.264 roughly. So heck yeah, I'm good with that. I ain't gonna try to go back for a half a degree. I was shooting for 17, I got 17.5. So now I get to, right after this I'm gonna do my delivery valves and my injectors. So that's next, I guess.